Welcome to the Trash Talk channel. I've got a $1,000 entry head-to-head league auction draft just started. Wemby is the first nomination, and here we go. As actually somebody pointed out in the comments, these higher stakes auction leagues, the big name players tend to go for a little cheaper. I think people are kind of hesitant early on in the draft, which just changes the dynamic a little bit. Doesn't really mean very much, but it means maybe it's easier to build a team around somebody like Wemby or Jokic. It looks like Wemby is going to go for a little bit more than I probably would have expected. Just like I said, with those people being a little more hesitant early, I guess that's not the case here, as Wemby goes for 77. I wouldn't say that's a lot, but a little bit more than I was expecting for this draft. So a quick one there. Nick Claxton goes off the board for 15. That's Ryan, who I interviewed on this channel last year. I faced him in the finals actually last year in the $1,500 entry. So he's like I think he's the highest rated player in this league. So somebody definitely look out for. I'm here bidding on Jokic. 72 seems pretty reasonable. See if anybody else goes for it. No, all right, 72 for Jokic. That is my team over there. This league is too expensive because it kind of is, but Jokic was not too expensive. Jokic for 72 seems right around the value that I'd like to get him in these leagues, and there you go. So I think I just got the best player for the second best price by $5 actually. Jokic is a pretty easy player to build around. I don't have to pick a build yet, but I do think I'm going to need to grab one more of these top players. So I think I've talked about this a few times on the channel, but there's really a group of guys from like in snake drafts from pick like 9 to 25 or so, something around there, where these guys are all kind of going to be the same fantasy value. So it's basically from like where Harden gets picked or like where Donovan Mitchell gets picked all the way until Devin Booker, even Tyrese Maxey. Like there's just this whole group of guys who are all kind of the same, at least value-wise. They obviously play very different styles of basketball, but value-wise, they're all going to be kind of the same. So from that perspective, I just want to draft one of them. Well, if SGA goes for 54, then I'm just going to take him. Yeah, I can't really afford to bid up here, but this is a really good price for SGA. All right, 58 is a little bit more reasonable. And we'll go from there. 58 to Rain. Rain tends to build what he likes to call centerless, which I actually tried last year in a league with SGA, and it didn't really work, but let's see if you can pull it off. So something that you get from playing in these leagues for a little bit is you get a sense of how guys like to draft. So like I said, Rain likes to do centerless. Brian likes to build the punt percentages and turnovers team, but he doesn't really go for any big name players. He tries to build kind of a across the board team like that. Mamba, or the team named Period right now, he just goes for what he considers value. Same thing with Ilias or Fatalist over here. Jefferson kind of has his own type of players that he goes for. I've seen him like really go high on Anthony Davis and Kevin Durant. Maybe that's just roto leagues, but yeah. So you kind of get a sense of how these guys play, and then and Boban also here at the bottom. I don't know if it really affects draft strategy all that much, but yeah, you get a little bit of a sense there. So this league has playoffs ending on March 30th. Oh, it's my turn to nominate. Let's do that. Which means that Jokic has a 4-4-3 playoffs. So that's pretty awesome. Let's see if Luka's still here. Luka has that 4-2-4, as is Kyrie. Sixers have a 4-4-4. The Pacers have a 4-4-4. So there's a few teams with like pretty solid playoff schedules. I just bid up De'Aaron Fox there real quick, and he keeps going up. Yeah, so this is Ilias just like looking for value here. Thinks Fox under 30 is good value. Sure. Yeah, so just keeping an eye on the playoff schedule. It is important in this league because first place in the regular season, I think, pays out 6,000. So that's definitely something that you want to go for. You also have a massive advantage with a buy, of course. So kind of balancing those two things out. You know, if Luka's a little bit cheaper because he has a bad playoff schedule, but you grab him and then you get a buy, you actually have a pretty big advantage there. So just something to keep in mind for this league. I'm going to just take a look here. Barnes goes for 37 to Balls of Glory, who doesn't have any players yet. Most people don't have any players yet. My team has 2 players. Yeah, so first place makes 6,500. So, and first place regular season makes 1,000. So you get your money back for winning the regular season. And then, yeah, so having that buy, I mean, if you have first, you get your money back. And then on top of that, you get a buy, which is just, we talk about it on the channel all the time. It's just a massive advantage because you're automatically in the semifinals. A buy means you have a 1 in 4 chance of winning the league, and it's probably even a little bit more because you got to start with a little bit of an advantage. Other teams are fighting to make it to the next round, and you're not. So you can sit there and pick up free agents, people who they drop. You can plan ahead to that week. You don't have to use your ads, and you can make a few ads for the following week who are good streamers for that week. So just a huge advantage. So we have a team drafting Giannis. That's going to be Mamba. Not sure if he's a big punter. We'll find out. He usually goes for value. Giannis for 48. I guess it seemed like value to him, so he went for it. And we'll see if he dives headfirst into the punt or if he just keeps going for value. So with Jokic on my team, I want one of these guys, and Brunson is in that range of players, but I have to be careful not to overspend because at this point, kind of every dollar matters. I'm already in that point of the draft, and we're 10 minutes in, but Brunson at 33, absolutely. Brunson at 37, it's not objectively too much, but it's too much for me. So I'm going to let him go. FTS, who PG-13 pace. He's in a lot of my leagues. I've never actually had him respond to one of my messages, I don't think. So trying to talk trades with him has proven to be difficult. This is going to be maybe the most interesting part of the draft. What does Embiid go for? Would you do it? Would you draft Embiid for 45? Would you draft him for 38? I would absolutely be bidding if I didn't already have Jokic. And Embiid Jokic would actually be pretty cool. But I don't know. I think I have enough Embiid for this season, so I'm gonna let him go. The fact that he's going in the 40s still, yeah, that's still pretty high, honestly. Like with the news that we have from him, he's still going to end up being one of the, he's going to be like a top 10 pick, based on auction value. Obviously, it's $30 less than Jokic, which I guess that makes sense, but 42. So he goes to Balls of Glory, who already has Scotty Barnes. Doesn't seem like there's a build there, but you don't really need a build around Embiid. You just need Embiid to be healthy. Let's hope I'm not playing Balls of Glory in the first. Wait, no, Embiid's actually out, so let's hope I am playing him in the first. I don't have any Halliburton yet this year, and he's been going around 50. So it's just been a little bit too much in my eyes. Rain is going to get him because it's an essential part of his build. But I just can't afford to pay 51. I know Rain really likes him and would probably bid him up, but I can't take that risk because then I would have spent $120 on 2 players, and it's just not a way that I like to build my team. That actually was pretty good value there. Tobias Harris for 15. I have a lot of Tobias Harris already, so I probably should have bid him up to like 20, but I got a lot. He's he would kind of force me into a build with Jokic that I'm just not really that crazy excited about. We got Anthony Davis going for 52. Curry went for 38, and that FTS. So we got Brunson, Tobias Harris, Anthony Davis. It's looking like a pretty good team. He's got $96 left, so he can probably afford to spend on one, $25, $30 player if he wanted to. But that's a pretty good trio. Tatum goes relatively cheap there at 41. Okay, so here's kind of a test for Mamba. I'm going to see if he goes for Banchero, who is generally a pretty good fit next to Giannis. We'll see if he actually does it. Banchero just going to go for 15. All right, so we definitely have Ryan building his punt efficiency team, and I'm surprised that nobody else wanted to go for Banchero there, so 15 was really cheap. This is another player who I think Ryan would go for. Get those rebounds in there. Yeah, there we go. 17, it feels really cheap, doesn't it? 19, Vooch at 20 now. I'm gonna let him go, but live to see another day. Vooch goes for 20. This team's got Scotty Barnes, Embiid, and Vooch. Jefferson's got 4 players. Luka, Edwards, Paul George, Giddey. He's getting guys for pretty cheap. Well, Luka for 60. I don't know if that's considered cheap, but everybody else. Trae Young, low 30s. Somebody I want. Trae Young, mid to high 30s. I just don't think I can do it. So we've got Rain going for his build. Halliburton, SGA, and Trae Young. He could probably use Cade. I'd be very happy with Cade here at 21 and 23. He brings me back in scoring in threes for relatively cheap. 25 is still pretty good. I'm going to let him go at 24. The team with Wemby. I think LeBron is a really awesome fit with Jokic, especially if I get him under 30. 30 now. I just keep missing out by a little bit here. Maybe not. Yeah, I think that's something I tend to do in auction drafts is I let guys go a little bit too much, and I really should be going $1 or $2 more at that point. Harden Jokic combo would be really fun. I don't think 42 is an overpay for it. There we go. Harden Jokic combo. I gotta go for one more of these not mid-tier, early tier guys. Somebody like Melo, for example, or Dame, or Towns, or Booker, or Mitchell, Durant. I just want one more of these guys. Larry Markkinen would actually be pretty awesome here because I have a ton of assists now. At this point, I still don't really have a punt. It's going to be hard to make up ground points with the amount of money that I've spent. So I don't think I need to be like a pure punt points team, but I'm kind of trending in a soft punt points direction here, which makes Brook Lopez pretty interesting. I think he's going to have a pretty good year, but it's also like, what, 37? How old is Brook Lopez? 36. So still don't have to do this punt points build. Still a chance to come back in points. And this is actually one of those opportunities for me. I think I'll go up to 33 if I get bid up one more time. Then I kind of have to let him go just based on how much money I have. All right, so we get Dame, Harden, and Jokic. Is this an old man team? It's partially an old man team, but it's kind of pretty awesome. Still got a decent amount of money left. In this league, I like to do 2 or 3 kind of late round $1 to $2 players. So that means for like, let's say 8 slots, I've got $50. Is that right? Yeah, so like $6 per player. Harden for 42, Towns for 37. Oh, okay. I was gonna say I don't love that, but 38. But the hindsight doesn't really matter. Once you draft somebody, that's it. It's done. Get your guys. I guess my question coming up here is, do I go for one more of these mid round players? I keep calling them mid round players. These top tier players. These guys are going to be top 25 guys. I have 3, including who I think is going to be the number 1 player. Do I go after somebody like Maxey or Markkinen or Bam? Maybe. I'm going to nominate somebody who I think is going to go for a lot of money, but is kind of low down the list. Just to knock like $15 off the board. There we go. Even more. I think Kessler's going for too much now. He was going really late in drafts early, but spending $20 on somebody who just was really disappointing last year and never really proved himself before. You're basically paying for block. I kind of understand it more in a roto league and a head-to-head league. I don't really see it. $20, sure. The other interesting one in this one is how much Kawhi goes for. Larry Markkinen, 30. I'm going to do it. If he goes above, I'm done. Ilias get him for 31. He's really going hard for him. No, maybe not. Scotty Barnes, Larry Markkinen, Vucevic, Embiid, and Brook Lopez. Is it a punt assists, I guess? But then why do you need Scotty Barnes? I don't know. Interesting. Booker in the low 30s seems like a steal to me. I'm going to go 33, which is actually where I've been seeing him go. But, I mean, he's going like mid-second round. Not that that matters that much, but I'll take him for 33. No. Oh, come on. The last second bid. Boo. FTS gets him for 35. Brunson, Booker, Tobias, Davis, and Towns. And he's basically done for the draft. That's a really good team. I'm a big fan. I like it. I got Chet earlier for 31 last week. Now that Hartenstein's out, going up $5 makes sense to me. Yeah, so the question remains, do I go after a Mitchell or Durant or a Bam or a Maxey? I think I got to set myself a budget here of like 30, and if somebody goes above that, I can't do it, and then see if I can get one of them for that price. Mitchell for 36, that's a good one. Mitchell and Curry, and a lot of money left. Well, I'm not going to be competing with him. That's just a totally different team than mine. The team with Giannis still hasn't drafted another player. Here we go. Sabonis is a classic fit for Ryan's team, but I guess 39 was his max. Sabonis at 40. I just think he's going to drop down a little bit. He's going for more money this year than he did last year, and I think he's going to be a little bit worse this year than he was last year. So I don't totally understand that, but all right. I don't think I've ever had John Morant on a fantasy team. Guess I won't. I assume if you're still watching this video that you guys do play auction, or you're trying to learn. Auction's awesome. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The only the only person out there bringing you $1,000 auction drafts on video. So give me some love. You guys ever get that moment in an auction draft where you didn't want to draft a player, but you bid them up, and then there's 2 seconds left, and you're like, all right, I guess I can have this guy, and then somebody bids him up right before the clock hits zero. It just happened to me with John Morant. Feels like a pretty good deal on Jamal Murray. He's been going just under 20. I think people are worried about the way he played in the Olympics, but he had one really good preseason game. I know that doesn't mean that much. He had 25 points, 5 assists, shot really well from three, made his free throws. So I'm really just not that worried. I think Garland can have a bounce back. I did draft him elsewhere, so I'm gonna let him go here. But for $16, it's worth a flyer. I think. I'm just curious what one of these guys goes for. There's still a slew of players here who I think deserve to be $30 or more. We'll see. Let's see. I'll rattle them off for you because you guys can't see the board. Durant, Şengün, Maxey, Van Vliet, and then there's guys in like the mid to late 20s. Adebayo, Jalen Williams. Maybe Jalen Williams goes for 30. Same thing with DeJounte, Jaren Jackson Jr., Evan Mobley, Desmond Bane. We also have Jimmy Butler and Kawhi. So there's still a lot of guys out there who, if I play it right, I can get maybe two of them. That's cutting it. Stretch. I don't know. Maybe one. We'll see. Here is one of those guys. I drafted him for 28 in the other league with a whole bunch of these guys. Seems like he's going to go right around there. I have a feeling he's going to be bid up here from 26. No, all right, 26. Fatalist. That's Ilias, J-Dub, and Tatum. Like I said, he just goes for value. He doesn't really build a team one way or the other. So I nominated Poole. He is going for double digits, so that's pretty cool. And a team with only $22 left is going to bid him up to 11. Oh, now we've got 12. I saw Edie go for 30. It was a 20-team league, but he went for 30 in another draft. Let's see if the hype continues here, or if somebody just takes him for 4. Nope. Right. I gotta stop doing that. 6 is much more reasonable. 7, well, I guess it'll keep going. Much more reasonable than 30. 30 was ridiculous. And the fact that somebody bid against him to get to that level is pretty ridiculous. Okay, here we go. So if I can get Durant for under 30, I'm absolutely doing it. That's funny. He bids him right for 30. Yeah, this is a pretty good deal. No, now it's this very hard to build a team around Jokic because you get to the point where there's a huge difference between 31 and 33 because I only have $53 left and I want one more guy beyond this. Rain's already going for his end of draft guys. Okay, I like Fontecchio. He plays power forward and he scores and shoots threes. So Rain did his research. He fits his bill. Okay, Maxey is somebody I'd go for like mid to late 20s. I guess there's a chance that I get him here because of that. I think that's all right. Maxey getting up into 30, and I can't do it anymore. Seems like a pretty solid deal. Okay, I bid 28 for Şengün. Not sure if anybody else is going to want him. Oh, there we go. Never mind. He would have been a really interesting fit next to Jokic because they're kind of the same, maybe similar. All right, we're going to do a bit of a time jump here, and I'll catch up with you guys at that point in the draft. Okay, guys, that was a very big time jump, about half an hour, and we're back in here. I drafted 2 players while I wasn't on camera. I got Keontae George and Fred VanVleet. Oh, and I got Reed Shepard. I got 3 guys. Keontae for $3 felt like just kind of a bargain at that price. So I went for it. My max bid now is $10. And I have a team that is pretty much set in threes, assists, free throw percentage, and is like decent at steals and very bad at field goal and rebounds. So that's why I'm bidding for Okongwu right now. Don't get him. That was close. Yeah, so my max bid is 10. I have 8 spots left to fill. I plan on doing, well, now at this point, probably two $1 players because I already grabbed Reed Shepard for $1. And I need some guys who are going to rebound for me a little bit. Denny Avdia is actually one of those guys. And I kind of wish I could get him for 3, but I can bid 4. That feels like too much. So we're going to let him go. So here's Valanciunas, somebody who team kind of needs with the rebounding. He does have a good playoff schedule, and Rain's going to get him for 7, even though he apparently misclicked and means I would have gotten him for 6. I'm annoying, but Rain's having some trouble here. His max bid is 8, even though his max bid is 12. Like the app is only allowing him to bid 8, which is weird. Not sure what's going on, but we're having a little bit of confusion here. Something interesting, Kawhi hasn't even been nominated yet. I think everybody's kind of scared of how much they're willing to spend on him. And at this point, there's not that much money left. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I really want a Norm Powell. I'm going to bid 4. I think he fits my team really well. Probably too much, but yeah, I wish I could have gotten him for 3. That's annoying. Here we go. Here's Kawhi. He goes above my budget. $7 for Kawhi. That's too cheap, guys. Can't let that happen. I'll take Norm Powell for 4, I guess. Kawhi goes for single digits. Man, that probably the steal of the draft. If he plays, that is definitely steal of the draft. Okay, so my max bid now is 7. Yeah, I kind of regret the Norm Powell. No, I think he's going to be pretty good. I think he'll be close to top 100 value. Starting, he's going to start even when Kawhi plays, so we'll take it. So at this point, max bid is 7. I would like to get some $2 players in here. I got a queue with Keon Ellis to get my steals up there. Noah Clowney, who I just like as a late round flyer, and Corey Kispert I actually have on there. Probably going to go undrafted, but somebody I'm interested in. Naz Reid is somebody I'd like to get. I don't think I have the juice for it anymore, but Derek Lively would be a target. Amin Thompson is always somebody I like to get this range of the draft. And there's not that much money out there. Ryan has a bunch. So basically 4 guys have a bunch of money, but Ryan only has 3 more roster spots. Yeah, so I think if I can get a $1 player in on this next nomination for me, then maybe I can squeeze in one of these guys who I like with the money that I have left. Seems going to be very top heavy, as I knew from the moment I drafted Jokic and then Harden. But really just insane level of assists. Going to be a very good steals team. Insane threes. Should be good in points and free throw. So it's like a 4 category monster, good at 5 categories. And despite having Jokic, it's going to be a bad rebounding team, which is something that I can actually, I think, attack later on here with somebody hopefully like a Lively or a Naz Reid. And you know what? Rebounding is a category that you can generally find on the waiver wire. I don't know if a lot of people would agree with that. It's relatively a scarce category left in this draft. Tends to be one of the more scarce categories, along with assists and points. It's third there as you go along in the draft. But I think I can find some late here. You know, guys like Josh Hart, Aaron Gordon, and then I could take some flyers on like Ware, Hendricks, even Kelly Olynyk. You know, there are guys out. My team's not going to be good in blocks, so it doesn't matter if the guys who I'm targeting are good at blocks or not. Wow, is Porter going to go for 7? That was my budget. I thought he was just going to shoot way above there. There we go. 8. I think if I nominate Clowney now, he's going to get bid up. So I'm going to take a flyer on PJ Washington. I think he's going to go for more than $1, but if I can get him for $1, that would be solid. I don't think it's a steal. I just think it's a solid player to have to slide in here. I don't have anybody who's power forward eligible, so that's helpful. It's going to hurt my field goal, but despite having Jokic, that it doesn't matter for my team. It's a weird team. So we get PJ for $1. Fine. And if I have to drop him, I got to drop him. This team is going to really play the waiver wire. That's what happens when you have a top-heavy team. PJ gets me some rebounding, a little bit across the board. Doesn't shoot the ball well, but does have some pretty awesome shooting nights once in a while. So I like the way he fits here. We're at the point of the draft where almost all the steals specialists are here. You've got OG. You got Caruso. I guess that's not almost all of them because Herb Jones and Suggs are already gone. Those guys are all kind of in a grouping in my mind. I guess OG is kind of above the other 3 just because of his pedigree, but to me they're all kind of the same or similar in terms of their fantasy contributions. I thought Patrick Williams was hurt. No, he played yesterday. Never mind. This feels like a Ryan pick here. Let's see. He only has 3 roster spots left. He's got 3 centers, so probably not. It really looks to me like in the end, Elias and Ryan are going to end up overspending for these later guys. Like they can get whichever one of them they want, but with the amount of money they have left, Ryan's averaging $7 a player. I don't think a lot of these guys left are going to go for $7. So I do think they're going to end up with a little bit of extra money down here at the end. Like if Simons is going for 6, now he only has 2 roster spots. It looks like FTS is going to use his lone $2 snipe on Chris Middleton, which means that he has 6 roster spots and $6 left. So he is done spending money. above the minimum. And here we go. Naz Reid is somebody I keep drafting. I'm a big fan here. $4. He fits my team really well. Score. He's going to get rebounds. I think he's going to play a lot of minutes this year. I think he's just better than Julius Randle, so I think the Minnesota's going to throw him out there a lot more than they did last year when he played a decent amount of minutes anyway. So I think, 85th rank or so season is coming up for him. So I'm really happy to grab him there for $4. My $4 players, Norm Powell and Naz Reid, I think are going to be excellent. People just don't seem to like Clay this year, huh? See, that bid up doesn't make any sense to me. Ilias has so much money left, and he's going to spend $3 on Klay Thompson. He bid him up just because he thought he was worth more than $2, but you should only bid him up there if you want him. At this point of the draft, you just go and get the player that you want. And that's the dilemma I have right here with Amin Thompson. I probably should bid 4 for him, but then I have no more money left for anybody else other than $1. So unfortunately, I'm going to let him go, and there we go, Ilias. Grabs him for 4, which is, again, I don't really understand. Doesn't make. Ilias is a really good manager. He has a lot of successful teams, and he drafts for value. But at the end of the draft, it kind of comes back to bite him because that's what he's got. At this point, man, Mark Williams might end up being a steal or just a total bust. Oh, that sucks. Rain bids 4 for him, even though, that's funny. That's really funny. My nomination here, I'm going to nominate somebody to get some money off the board. Okay, so we get double digits for OG, knocking one of Ilias or Ryan out of the running for getting whoever they want the rest of the way. Auction drafts are weird, guys. This happens sometimes where kind of one player left who seemingly has more value than the rest of the guys, and he goes for more money than he probably would have if you just drafted everybody at the same time. Like in a vacuum, if you look at the values throughout the draft, it doesn't tell you the whole picture because of circumstance. So Ryan gets OG for 14. And he got Simons for 6. So that's just the way of the draft. I'm going to go 3 for Josh Hart. I like the rebounding and assists that he can get. He's going to play a lot of minutes, and it knocks me out of the running for Lively, which is somebody who I kind of wanted here, but his blocks aren't going to help me. Josh Hart doesn't get blocks, but gets rebounds, so actually, he fits my team better here. And there's Lively. That was crazy. So somebody who a lot of people are high on this year, Jonathan Kuminga. I'm honestly not super high on him, but I grabbed him for $2. My team was starting to feel like it was a little bit low in points. And Kuminga looks like he's going to start for the Warriors. He's going to play 30 minutes. Is he going to average 18 points, 15 points, 20 points? I don't know, but he's going to score. He's not really going to give me much elsewhere, but I think he fits this team. So $2 for Kuminga and $2 for Porzingis. You guys, these drafts are weird. These drafts are just weird. So I got three $1 guys here. My team's free throw percentage is excellent. So I do feel like I can take on somebody like Aaron Gordon. The upside isn't quite there, but he's actually pretty good in my punt. Somebody who can bring my field goal percentage back, and I get those 2 nuggets. My team is an excellent assist team, an excellent steals team, an excellent threes team, an excellent free throw percentage team. So I actually, generally in a head-to-head, I would kind of attack this as, let's stick with the strengths and maybe shore up one weakness. But I'm actually going to try and grab some rebounding to end this draft to shore up that part of this team. So at this point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams can all outbid me for, nope, now it's going to be 4 for a $1 player. I'm going to take Aaron Gordon for $1. See what happens. So 1 guy's done. Actually, 2 guys are done. Team that drafted Giannis, drafted Zion, but otherwise didn't really punt free throws. Interesting. Gordon for $1. Now I have 2 more. I think if I can get Clowney and Ellis, that would be ideal here. Taylor Hendricks is somebody I don't have on any teams yet, I don't think. So I'm going to see if I can get him here for $1. Looks like it at this point. And then I have 1 more $1 player. It's probably going to be Keon Ellis if he falls to me, or Noah Clowney. I guess I do have to put another guy in my queue because there's a chance I don't get either of those. Taking flyers here at the end of the draft. I do like Ware, but I did already draft him. I like Clowney, but I've already drafted him. I like Keon Ellis, him. I like Klingon, but I've already drafted him. So I like Nemhard, but I've got him. So not totally sure which one makes the most sense at this point. There's Nemhard, and I'm next. Gotta decide, guys. I gotta decide. I think Keon Ellis, just because he's going to start. I know he's going to play. Clowney and Klingon Probably bench players to start the season. Imagine they'll get drafted, but they might get cut. So, sold. Here we go. So let's see if I can show you my team over here. No, it doesn't let me do it in this mode. Well, Jokic, Harden, Dame, and Van Vliet. And then I guess Naz Reid, PJ Washington, Norm Powell, Kuminga, Hart, and Keontae George is kind of like the team core-ish. And then you've got the Flyers and Ellis Hendricks and Reed Shepard, and Aaron Gordon, who's probably somebody who just like chugs along all season, helps me out in enough categories that can't really drop him, but he's good. All right, guys, that'll do it for the $1,000 head-to-head league. I've got the Roto $1,000 league starting in 15 minutes, so I'm going to take a little break and we'll get back to it.